So let's start since we've got like all the friends over here. So hello everyone, my name's Susie. Hello. Hello. And just a little bit about me and also a little disclaimer. So I used to be in part of some of the projects, including some DeFi, social graph, metaverse, NFT, and also I used to be partnership and growth for BNB Chain. So it's a layer 1 blockchain. And my expertise lies in growth, ecosystem growth, BD, marketing, and operations. So this little disclaimer here is that since I have a background in those kinds of areas, so like I won't be too tech savvy person. So like I won't touch a lot of details in the tech side. But if you're willing to talk, we can definitely like talk later about some tech sides. I'm like always open to discussion. But let's dive into the topic for today. So before we dive into ERC token standards, we need to know a little bit more about EIP. So EIP stands for Ethereum Improvement Proposals. So an analogy here is like it's a suggestion box for Ethereum blockchain. So if you have a cool idea for Ethereum, either it can be new features or maybe changes to the system or maybe just sharing information, you can definitely raise an EIP standard. And there are different types of EIPs, including standard track EIPs. It's absolutely system changing, and those are very big ones. It can define working mechanisms for Ethereum blockchain, and there are meta EIPs. Those are more about processes and environments. And there are informational EIPs. So literally, it's sharing informations and guidelines. And let's touch a little bit more about standard track EIP categories. There are 4 categories within the standard track EIPs. So the first one is core. So it proposed changes to the required consensus or even modify Ethereum's core code. So this is a really big one. And other ones including networking, for example, like improving Ethereum network protocols. So for example, like how Ethereum nodes communicate with each other is within this networking category. And the third one is interface. So for example, if you want to make changes to Ethereum's client API or standards, so for example, like how we interact with Ethereum, it's within the interface. And lastly, it's ERC. Those are application level standards and conventions. So I want to touch a little bit about the review processes, just in case like some of you guys here want to make an EIP proposal. So the first, you need to draft your EIP, and then you will go through reviews and feedback sessions, and then there will be a last call for content or maybe like feedbacks, and then it will be published to Ethereum. And if you want to write a good EIP, there are certain standards. So for example, you need to be well written and thought out. And also, if you want to raise an EIP, so single EIP should only cover one idea or proposal. So if you have like several cool ideas, you should be like raising several EIPs. And also, as authors and content creators, you should build consensus and also deal with disagreements. So you're the mother and fathers of this EIP standards, so you need to take care of them. So it's truly a big deal for Ethereum network. So take it seriously. We're going to dive in deep into some of them. So let's dive into ERC. So ERC stands for Ethereum Request for Comment. So if you want to go to maybe ERC website, you can see a ton of them, including maybe the status of them. So including 20, 721, and also like in the last session from Vitalik, he also mentioned like maybe 1271. Let's take that as an example. So for example, it has the title and subtitle, standard signature validation method for contracts, and table of contents, abstract, motivation, specification, rationale, code, copyright citation. It's like writing an academic article, so you need to be very careful about everything. And also, it has all the information on the website. So go check that out. I do want to, I know like you guys are like more techy than I am. So you guys know a lot about codes and everything. But I do want to mention about ERC20 and ERC721 a little bit, because those are something that we cannot really skip. So the first one is ERC20, which stands for Fungible Token. So it's the brainchild of Fabian and Vitalik, which was introduced in 2015 November. So this is the first one-size-for-all standard for Ethereum token. And also an analogy that I really want to use is the shared language, just like English for all the token that is established on Ethereum. So since we all use English, so I can communicate with you and I can communicate with you. It's not really like other languages like Mandarin. There are definitely other token standards that fit for maybe like some regions, but not really like ERC20. And some feature functions, including total supply, balance of, allowance, transfer, approve, and transfer from. And also we have other speakers from Open Zeppelin, which is like, I want to use the analogy of an open recipe. So if you have all the codes from that library, you can make your own cake. But you can spice it up with your talent, just like adding some fruit onto that ERC token standard that you want to develop. But it's not all sweetness. It's not all like rainbow and sunshine about ERC20, although it's a breakthrough. So for example, if you guys are around here in 2016, there's the Dow Attack. So there's a hacker finding a loophole within the smart contract of incoming token. So it caused 15 million loss into the black hole. And also there are some limitations. I love this meme. And because like ERC20 standard need to create a separate smart contract for every unique token type or combination of customizable features. Therefore, there's an explosion of ERC20 token standards and smart contracts on the market right now. And also, it's really hard for people to do those due diligences on those contracts. And another contract token standard that we definitely need emphasis is ERC721. We also have speaker yesterday from Pragma, Deirdre from Dapper Labs, who is also the author of this token standard. So it was created in 2018, and this is actually making, like the name just makes it sound. It's the non-fungible token. So you guys all know about NFTs. So those tokens are one of a kind and holding its own special of attributes that is different from any other NFTs. So for example, like Azuki, they have attributes like background, clothing, eyes, hair, mouth, type, etc. So which is different from any other ones. And I hope you guys all go to Pragma yesterday because it was so cool. And also you can get a CryptoKitty. So one of the case study of ERC721 is definitely CryptoKitties. I won't dive into too much details, but if you want to check that out, this is super important. And with ERC721, the limitations is that it do not really offer quantitative features. So there's less computability, liquidity, and manageability with ERC721 token. And also, it's not really good application for financial instruments. So like bonds, insurance policies, or vesting plans. An analogy that I like to use, so if you guys have watched the anime Yu-Gi-Oh! So it's the last century anime and also like card game. So if I want to share a Yu-Gi-Oh! Card with my sister, so I cannot really tear it into half and maybe send her a half of that without losing its own assets. So with ERC721, it's not really enabling people to maybe divide those NFTs and send it. And yeah, especially with financial instruments like bonds, like insurance policies, where we need to divide it, like ERC721 is definitely not the case. And I want to give credit to ERC6551, 6551, and also maybe 777 and all other token standards, because we have a limited time today. So I won't dive into too details, but you can definitely find those authors outside and also in other panels to talk about details about those token standards. But for today, like, we're going to mention ERC1155 and ERC3525, which is in the system. It tries to improve ERC20 and ERC721. So ERC1155 is also a very foundational one. It's called multi-token standard. So imagine it's actually created by Midjourney, a vending machine where we can get all kinds of food. So if I want to get a soda and also maybe a candy bar, all I need to do is press the soda number and press my credit card, and soda drops. If I want to get the candy bar number, credit card, and it drops. But if I imagine this vending machine as Ethereum blockchain, then whenever I press the credit card, I need to pay the gas fee. It's not very time efficient or maybe money efficient at the same time. But with ERC1155, it's actually solving this problem because it's combining maybe the soda and also the candy bar in one slot together, or maybe some digital collectibles in one slot also. So I only need to press the credit card for once, and then everything drops. And we need to give credit to Engine, which is the author of this token standard. So it's a blockchain gaming company, and also they use ERC1155 for their gaming token, avatar, in-game asset, and land. And as we mentioned, every token standard have its advantages and also disadvantages. This is also one thing I want you guys all take from today's panel. So the limitations with ERC1155, although it's a breakthrough and also I think it's underrated, it's very intricate. And also we find each token has its own set of rules. So we want to combine them together. For example, the analogy that I use, if I want to make soda and candy bar into one slot, soda is soda, candy bar is candy bar, why we should combine them together? There might be some inconsistency happening within the slot. So adding on to just one more sentence about that. So I think for 1155, maybe there are some real life applications as well. So for example, real asset management, supply chain management, and so other than maybe in crypto industry, we can definitely use this token standard in other areas as well. So ERC3525 is also adding another layer on top of everything else. So it was introduced by the Soft Protocol team, and also it was created late 2020, so not very far away. So it's called Semifundable Token. Let's imagine something right now together. So if I have a water bottle, I'm sorry I did not really bring my water bottle today, but let's imagine it sitting here. So it's a container holding a unique item. It's indivisible most times, and also it has to be used as a whole. But with ERC3525, just like this picture of a container having lots of bottles inside, I can pour it into smaller bottles and maybe distribute with anyone in the classroom in this panel together. So it's divisible and combinable, and also it's a universal digital container, and also it's visualizable smart contract. So this picture over here, if Alice wants to send Bob an NFT of $50, then Bob is getting two $50 NFT. But with Semifundable Token, which is ERC3525, he can combine the two $50 together and form a $100. NFT. So fractional come true. Another example that I want to give you guys is, for example, I am a digital artist who is making a masterpiece. For example, this masterpiece, Mona Lisa over here. If I want to sell it right now, probably I'm going to deploy a ERC721 token and sell it as a NFT. But with the help of ERC3525, I can fractionalize that maybe into different fractions and distribute or sell it to everyone in this panel room today. And each of you guys will get a little piece of that artwork. So if the market goes up, maybe later this year, and you guys can divide it up into even smaller pieces and get profit, maybe just selling that out. And if you guys want to form that masterpiece together, maybe in the future, to display in the library, in the museum, then you guys can come together and combine that. So it's combinable and dividable at the same time. And think about this aquarium. So it's a transparent aquarium so that we can see like how many fishes are inside, how many corals, how many things are inside. So it's a visualizable smart contract. So you can sneak peek and assess the quality of everything within that smart contract. So with Solve Protocol, they have like digital vouchers that you can see like all your financial investment and everything with that voucher, with that NFT. So that you can, as an investor, you can make informed financial decisions. You can mitigate your risks and also promote transparency. So let's think back to the financial crisis of 2008. So with that transparency, maybe like we can mitigate the damage of that financial crisis with maybe the help of ERC3525 or maybe other token standards. And also it can help to do maybe dynamic NFTs or dynamic semi-fungible tokens. This is a picture of using Chainlink to collect some off-chain data within the oracles. But with the ERC3525, you can easily upgrade, evolve, or adapt or improve your NFT, your SFT with the help of other information. This is a very clear picture, and I found ERC3525 and also like ERC1155 like in the middle of the spectrum, where ERC20 is computable but not really self-descriptive. ERC721, on the other hand, is self-descriptive but not really computable. But maybe like 3525, 1155, they are having both of the asset. And some data structures, finally some tag information. So ERC20 is having the value. ERC721 is having the token ID, or what we call ID. ERC1155 is ID, value, metadata underneath. And 3525 is also adding a slot where you can maybe add different slots into that token and ID. And 1155 also has batch transfer, and 3525 has transfer to token, which is also illustrated here. You can see that ID to ID, token to token transfer. But there are some limitations. Although it's a very functional token standard, 3525, but it's very complex. So there might be some like higher potential for glitches or security vulnerability. So as coders, you guys need to be very careful like when you're coding that. And also for users, although I mentioned like how beneficial that fractionalized NFT can benefit all the other people, but it's hard to use, right? Like for NFTs, I can just transfer to you guys. But with fractionalized NFTs, we need more educational information on how to manage the shared portion of those NFTs. But one example that I want to give you guys is XWinner. So it's a gaming platform, and it's true free-to-play mini or casual game with on-chain assets that is using ERC3525. So with the help of ERC3525, maybe in gaming, we can see like dividable in-game assets, like tickets, like player characters, skins, weapons, power-ups, etc. And also, like with fractional height NFT, I'm so sorry, blurry tongue, we can have more liquidity in the market so that you do not really need to sell a whole NFT. You can just fractionalize that and maybe sell a portion of your NFT, which has like maybe like less money invested in that portion. And we can also imagine some new gameplay mechanism for guilds. So right now, like the guild for GameFi is shrinking, if you guys are familiar. So we can combine fractions for a boss stage. Just imagine like all of us in this panel room has a portion of a sword. And we can combine together, maybe to tackle a boss stage together, instead of maybe just trying to play your own GameFi. I do think like socialization is very important for gaming. So right now, with GameFi, this is something that we definitely want to tackle. And the second one is variety for game can be united. So you guys know like variety is definitely the spice for our lives, especially with gaming. If I play a game for maybe 24 hours, I will get tired. I just want to play something else. So we want to have a variety. With ERC3525, we can have different slots for different types of game, different gaming genres. So for example, we have maybe puzzle game, we have casual game for slot 1 and slot 2, and there's some games underneath. So for example, like 2048, we have Sudoku, we have chess under the puzzle game, and we have smart contract attached, pools attached, and algorithm attached. So there are some demos, Sudoku, and Pac-Man. And I don't know, I am a heavy gamer, and I do believe in the future of GameFi. So like with this concept, we are building XWinner, and we want to restore the trust and confidence in GameFi. And right now, I have been questioning a lot, like whether GameFi is still a thing. Like, GameFi is not only a thing, it's the future. And all the companies, all the big companies in Web2 are investing thousands, millions of dollars into like maybe developing their marketplace and also developing GameFi. And with the help of ERC3525, the token standard, we can reward those time invested in those gaming. So a minute of enjoyment of time that you put in that game is a minute invested, so that we can have a united leaderboard for all the game instead of like maybe having one game with their own system algorithm. We can have a united board for all the things. And therefore, we are here to restore faith, to reignite passion, and to reassure the world that GameFi is not only alive, but thriving with potential. And also, I want to encourage you all to think about something. So, as we mentioned, there are all kinds of token standards in the market right now. You can check the board for all of them. But for builders out there, since ERC is definitely your weapon, you need to think about its function. Whether it's definitely something you need or not, go check them out and to see if they're sharp enough for your use case. Thank you so much.